All right, folks, welcome in to another edition of Total Points Tuesday, where today we're going to draft two teams over on Drafters. Drafters, if you don't know, is probably the third most popular best ball platform at the moment. Great camera angle right there by me. I guess I got to slide a little bit over here. It is a total points site. So we're jumping in here. And if you want to draft with me, now is the time to do it. Literally, I'm the only person in the lobby. So, I don't know how to do that, but we're in the lobby here. If you're not up and running on Drafters, you can use promo code Cheslium for a $100 deposit match. And here, let me let my Discord know. Link for that is below as well. The link for Drafters is in the YouTube description below, along with the link for my site and the link for my Discord. Let me see. I'm gonna tag the Drafters channel. Try to get this filled. Need a couple more. Again, Drafters is total points, PPR, heads and tails. Drafters is total points. It's not head to head. So I was thinking, it's kind of heads to tails. But here's the difference between the eliminator. Drafters. Here's the difference between the eliminator and the under and total points is in the eliminator. If you have a bad week, you're out. See you later. In Drafters, theoretically, if you score 5 points one week, but 500 another week, you're fine. Drafters ranks are hitting the site officially tomorrow. I know I dragged my feet there. Sorry about that. The other reason is I like to get a certain amount of teams in usually. I've only done 19 teams right now on Drafters, so I like to get a couple in, fine-tune the ranks, but gonna have those ranks live tomorrow. I've been doing a lot of research on some cool stuff. It's gonna hit the site, beatbestball.com. Anyways, appreciate you folks being here. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you missed it, talked about the Gilbert Arenas drafts yesterday. Most people I think were on my side. Some people were calling me a stupid idiot. Classic internet. We don't let it bother us. How we doing? Just got back from the gym. Kept it pretty easy. Did some pull-ups, some bicep workouts, some back workouts. Did legs yesterday, so nice and easy. Gonna be doing two Drafters. Format of Drafters. 500K to first. It is PPR, points per reception. So each catch you do is a point, right? Underdog's half point. DraftKings is also PPR. There are no playoff weeks. So if you're someone who's like, I would have won without the pod luck, Drafters is for you, right? I have written some articles on Drafters at beatbestball.com where I broke down the highest scoring teams the past 2 years. I'm going to update this article sometime soon with this current year's data. I think I'm waiting on Drafters to send me that. And we're also going to do a giveaway for a free team. But yeah, you should check out this article. Basically went through it and, went through how common a build was, what percent out of the top 100 teams in 2023 were represented. So almost every year, 3683 is the most common build. And then I looked at the top 10 teams, see if they're doing anything different. Not a lot of duplication here. Kind of surprising. There's only one 3683 team in the top 10. A 2774 team was up there. 2022, similar data, 3683, the dominant build. Here's the top 10 for 2022. Gave you the specific lineups here. Gave you some descriptions here. I think the draft is filled. So enough about that, but you should check that out. That article is free. All right. We're in the 11 hole, a spot I really like. I like the back half of drafts. I think it's the best part to be drafting from this year. Let's try me over here. What do we think, folks? I'll slide my chair. Maybe I should sit up. Capital, he had 2 years ago, he had the highest scoring team in Best Ball Mania. Thought he was a hot shot. It's like calling me out on Twitter, being like, "Oh, I'll beat you in chess too." Haven't really heard from him since then, but good to see him still grinding. I think he won a mill the year after I won BBM 2. He had the highest scoring regular season team BBM 3. What's a real bummer is someone who I like, Mythology. Not that I don't like other people, but Mythology, if you know him, he's like I don't know. He's seems to know everyone's girlfriend is. Every player's girlfriend. That type of guy. Anyways, hilarious character. He had the highest scoring team in Underdog last year, but there's no regular season prizes, which I thought was a good change. They're back to this year. Drafters promo code, yes, sir. It is Chess Liam. That will get you a $100 deposit match. You click this link. It's also linked below. And again, going to have ranks on the site. Drafters is also 20 rounds. And a big difference about Drafters is the contest typically overlays. It is overlaid every single year. What is overlay? Overlay is when the contest does not fill. That is good for us as individuals because prize money is guaranteed by law. So if you get in a contest where it's guaranteed for a certain amount of money and it doesn't fill, you're simply competing with less people for the same amount of money. So obviously that covers some of the, it covers the rake, right? The rake is what the site takes. Drafters also has a ton of giveaways you should check out. You got to check it out on the site, but it's like you draft a certain amount of teams, you get certain free ones. People who have signed up to beatbestball.com, I got clarification from Drafters. So last year, anyone who was a member of beatbestball.com got a free ticket. It's only $100 a year, so you're getting a free $20 ticket. This year, anyone who's signed up since past September 1st is going to get a free ticket. So people who already got it last year, sorry, you're not getting another free ticket this year. But any new signups past the start date of the NFL season last year, since they didn't get it, are going to get a free ticket. I'm going to do that in batches, so don't worry. If you're signed up, the only thing is, if you have a different email for Drafters than you do for beatbestball.com, and you have to sign up for the yearly price, right? Then you're not going to get your ticket unless you communicate that to me. All right, let's make a pick here. Really can't go wrong, but yeah, I mean, so easy to see CMC, just an absolute requirement. He's quite likely a guy who's going to go up in price if he gets positive news. And I don't personally, I don't care what kind of news we get on CMC. I don't want to take him over like Jahmyr Gibbs, for example, right? Just because, like, I don't care what the news is on the man, he has risk. Nico Collins, I'm very into. Literally, I could have the RB1 and wide receiver 1. Good start. The Underdog did come out with the Superflex puppy. And, you know, what I put out was, hey, Gilbert Arenas more like Nostradamus, right? Like, dude just missed the wrong contest here. You should tip your barber more money. I mean, I gave him a $10 tip. It's a pretty good tip. But thank you. What do you guys tip on haircuts? $10. That's pretty good, right? I don't know how much the cut was. It was probably like $30. I don't get haircuts that often, so I'm a liberal tipper. Penn says he does 7. Seems fair. Barber changed your life. I did not see that. If anyone did anything fun for Memorial Day, let me know in the chat. Has anyone ever won BBM with a 7+ RB team? I don't think so, Rhino. Fareed won 1 year with a 3-6-6-3. So it's kind of close, you know. I tip 5 to 10, depending on how nice of a cut it is. I mean, you can't even tell fresh off the cut how good it is, you know. Can I do a mini? Yeah, if you guys like, if you're someone who's like, there's no puppies in the lobby. Well, do I have a place for you? Drafters almost always has a $2 one. $2 one, 10K to first. I typically don't draft in these. I accidentally drafted one in it. So hopefully it's the winner. Or hopefully, I don't know. Like, that's why I don't draft the lower stakes one sometimes, because I'm like, man, if I draft the winner when I could have drafted that and won more money, like, I don't know. I'm sick like that. Superflex ranks, we're not going to have those, Maserati. I'm sorry. I don't have, it's a totally unique contest. It's typically a one-off contest. Here, I'll give you the too long don't read. You should do one of two things for Superflex. You should either get your quarterbacks early. I mean, you need quarterbacks. Or build a super team of players, punt off quarterback. Right now, with the ambiguity of quarterback at the end of the drafts, I think it's like kind of interesting to like build a super team of players and then, you know, hit that Aaron Rodgers, hit that Daniel Jones, pair him with Anthony Richardson. You know, like you can fusion together some good quarterback rooms. I don't even know if I'm going to do any super flex. Maybe I'll do some on stream with Davis tomorrow. Wow. Very nice. A wedding? How do we avoid the Polk/Corleys of this year? You know, Rhino, I think what happened with some of that is we were fresh off a season of Tank Dell smashing, Puka Nakua smashing. And so what we do as humans is we pattern match, right? Like this is why when you look at clouds sometimes you see faces in the clouds, right? We are good. We have developed as humans a good way to identify patterns. And I mean, outside of being, let's make some picks. We're going to pass on the elite quarterbacks. I don't think they're as good in total points. They definitely can work. You know, James Cook's my guy. He's holding out, so I'm a little bit worried that he's just going to get cheaper in price. But he was like the best player on the field for the Bills against the Chiefs. They have an awesome O-line. People know the touchdown regression is expected, but the dude can – something that's very valuable in a total points format is players who can pop off for like 40 or 50 points in a given week. And on that vein, we're taking Worthy. The reason why is, you know, if you go 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 5 weeks in a row, so you scored 50, that is not as good as scoring 0 4 weeks and then 50 1 week because you're trying to score the most points possible in a given week. So yeah, anyways, on the Polk Corley point, like outside of being wizards of like college diagnosis, which has absolutely never been part of my game playing best ball, and I'm one of the most successful best ball players ever. Slash going to training camps and like seeing stuff, also not something I've ever done. I simply think sometimes you're going to draft these rookies, they're going to burn you. Sometimes you're going to get the Tank Dells. So maybe it's more just an exposure game. It's, you know, you could have drafted Polk and Corley and still advanced last year, right? But yeah, I mean, sometimes you draft players, it doesn't work out. So be it. Yeah, so Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting bigger, which is interesting, right? Because it's like defenses for the most part are getting smaller. Maybe they'll get bigger again with the emergence of the run. But I don't like, is he trying to box people out? I'm still drafting him. I'm not thinking about it. Keon Coleman also bulked up, you know. An underdog, if you get boxed into Anthony Richardson, are you always grabbing Daniel Jones for floor, always chasing the upside? I mean, so for Superflex, I think Richardson and Jones is like way more viable. For like best ball mania or a puppy, I'm probably just gambling that I'm right. It depends on my quarterback room though, right? Like if I have Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson, I'm not taking Jones. If I have Tyler Shuck and Anthony Richardson, yeah, I want Jones. In or out on Shadur, out. In general, quarterback is not a good pick to gamble on because even if you're right, you're not winning something super valuable. You're just not, right? You know, let's say you're right. You're the only one with Shadur. He scores 15 points per game. Congratulations. You have like the quarterback 30. You know? Now, if you take a running back that's drafted at 5% of the time and that guy averages 50 points per game, you literally might win the contest. That's what happened the year of Kyron and Puka and Tank Dell. If you were the lineups that took both Kyron and Puka, if you took Tank, Kyron, Puka, now you have a winner. Skill players can separate far more. Now, some years they don't exist. Like last year, not a lot of guys existed. You know, there was Bucky, there was Tyrone Tracy. You know, rankings hitting the site officially tomorrow for drafters. Janu was a big one. Yeah, he was on my finals team. Chuba's interesting over. Yeah, we're going to do Chuba. I think it's just kind of a tier at running back. And then Judy, Juwan, Olave. I like all three of these guys, to be honest with you. It's never easy to choose who. We're going to go Judy. We go Olave like always. Jennings has the same buy. Like we have a lot of week 14 buys. Buys are a little bit more important on drafters than they are on like Best Ball Mania, where again you're trying not to have a bad week. The 25K WSOP fans draft currently on. You making it out to Vegas this year? Well, I'm going to be teaching chess again. And so that's why I'm moving to night streams come June. I've just been missing it, you know, and no offense, but it's not my life ambition to educate on fantasy football all day. I like doing this too, but yeah, I've been missing the classroom. I've been missing chess. And so I'm going to be doing that, but I have July off. So I think I'm going to be making it. I'm going to make it out for like the main event, you know? So I'm a very bad pick in the WSOP draft. Night streams, I get what you're throwing down there. Alan Lazard, yeah, I think he's a good pick just because he's almost never drafted. And, you know, he was good last year. Is Judkins in line to be Chubb 2.0? I could see that. He was drafted higher than Travion Henderson, but goes cheaper in drafts. Obviously, that has to do with enthusiasm about the Patriots. But, you know, to be clear, Nick Chubb is like a Derrick Henry level runner of the football. And so it's simply a very high bar to clear. You would think someone that good at running the football would have gone in the first round. I mean, the second part of your statement has nothing to do with the first part. Okay? I could see the Dolphins being good again. Playing the Commanders in Spain, not a meaningful data point. Josh Reynolds, I just don't. He's like not good enough to be a great click to me. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm saying. I mean, Jermaine Burton's getting, this is some risk of doing early drafts. I have a lot of Andre Yoshivas in Best Ball Mania, and honestly, I'm worried. I'm worried because Jermaine Burton's getting some buzz. Got to reach the kids, Vadim, So we have a balanced 3-3 build. I'm not going to go 6 running backs probably, since I have 3 running backs through 5 rounds. But it's a maybe just because I have the double 14 buys. Are you clicking any Devon Bailey? I took him once in a drafters team, and I question all the time why I did it. So, yes, I have taken him once. What vibes, my friend? Let's see the drafters chat. Let's see what they're cooking up here. Hi, guys. What up? Yo. If you want to message your opponents while drafting, Drafters is the place for you. Literally the only best ball site. FFBC also lets you do it. Some of the managed sites. Yeah, Mahomes. Maybe we'll take him next pick. No reason to right now. This guy doesn't have a chief. Screw it, man. I don't know. I'm going down with the ship on Ayuk currently. Even if he misses the first cut, I've been researching. I've been trying to research whether he's going to play or not. Information's mixed. We might as well take Mahomes here since we took Worthy. Drafters is a place where you want to draft nearly everywhere. You want to draft like you're right, but I think this is a good pick by this guy. By the way, it's a bad pick by ADP, but if you had told me that Fields was just the QB6 in ranks, I would have believed you. He's the only guy who can rush for 1,000 yards in this range, right? Oh, Brandon Ayuk on total points. All right, not Will. We'll see. I take Ayuk in the eliminator too, folks. I can't help myself. Do I play solid or chaotic chess openings? I play a mix, honestly. I play C4, which is more on the solid side, but I also play the Sicilian. So gotta stay balanced in life. I play like chaotic openings as black, but I'm trying to change some of that. Even if Ayuk, let's pretend Ayuk is a total 0 for the first 7 weeks of the season. And then remember, this is 17 weeks. And then for the last 9 weeks, because he has a bye, he has 4 games above 30 points. He's worth it then. Were you the guy saying, was I mocking you? Were you this guy? Are you not Will? I don't know. I'm a little bit uneasy about Worthy's price, by the way, but you simply got to take him sometimes. 4th round Worthy, not hard to see that one failing. That's you. Banned. Just kidding. All right, guys, let's do the giveaway. If you have a Drafters username, start spamming it in the chat. 30 seconds. I'm pulling it up. Whoever is first in the chat, on the bottom. I'm just going to highlight their name. You win the ticket. Spam your drafters username. If you don't have a drafters username, you can't enter. And the only person who can't win is Who Hames, because he won last time. So just keep on writing your drafters username. What happens is I message just the drafters, they give you the ticket. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zachabot, you are our winner. Ooh, man. Literally right after, like, I just clicked the button. I don't even look. And then right after that, like 500 other messages came in. Zach, you have won a free ticket. Congratulations, my friend. We give away 1 free ticket per stream that involves drafters. So always remind me if I forget. Let me pull up my Twitter to message the drafters account, and they will deposit that for you, my friend. Hey, it pays. Literally pays to be watching this channel. An RTA bot. All right, what are we gonna do here? Yeah, so it's interesting where the running backs, like, they don't get hoarded as much on drafters. Yeah, Trey Harris, fun guy. It is like Luther Burden goes higher on underdog. Interesting. I don't feel the need to take a running back right now, just with me having CMC Cook Chuba. But Mason, Charbonnet, Tootin is fun too. I don't have enough Tootin in Best Ball Mania. Danny, I mentioned you on stream yesterday. I don't play a lot of cards. I was just bored. I was going to play a chess tournament, and the chess tournament got kind of canceled for me because the field was too weak, so I was already there. And you guys were only spreading 1-2. You know what? Tootin. Why not? When you think of total points, you think of guys who can just go score 50 points, and with Tootin's speed, he can do it. Also, I'm moving soon, Danny. Otherwise, maybe. Dude, you're behind. I'm sorry, my friend. All right, Zachabot. Let's see here. Zachabot. All right, let's recap the team so far. I like what I'm cooking up. Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, James Cook, Chuba Hubbard, Bichelle Tootin, Nico Collins, Worthy, Judy, Ayuk, Trey Harris. So I like all the players I have. I like the relative balance here. Oh, okay. You're the guy who took Fields. Nope, we're doing double drafters for Total Points Tuesday. Not too interested in Superflex. I mean, you could see the start being very good. The fun thing about Mahomes is he's like cheap enough where you can still go 3 quarterbacks. Appreciate you folks being here. Like and subscribe. We're closing in our goal, 6,700. Can you at least flex after this? The team. That would have been more impressive if you saw my full body, you know. What's the best outcome for Judy Flacco at quarterback? I would say you got a couple outs here, Sawston. Number 1, yeah, easily Flacco, right? Number 2, though, is kind of interesting. It's Dylan Gabriel or Sanders being like good, you know, which you got some chances of that. Number 4 is kind of dark. It's like Devonta Smith, dude, scored like 30 points with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. So I get it. We don't love the quarterback situation, but some of the stuff's being double counted, you know? Mac, dude, you were in here to start the stream. Yeah, you're unlucky. Get him next time. Total points Tuesday, folks. Well, we mixed some other. Dude, no one is botting my chat. Get out of here. Dude, the conspiracy theories, they run deep. They run deep here. See, I respect this. That's not very nice. Sometimes you just need a bit of toxicity. Agreed, man. If you can't razz some folks, what's the point? Herbert goes, would have definitely paired him with Harris. Yeah, dude, got to keep noties on. I have my balcony open and it is too effing hot. So I'm going to close that after these picks. What makes the Tootin pick nice is like within 4 picks, Jaden Blue goes. And like, I don't know, man. I can't do the Jaden Blue thing right now. So this dude's got no Texans. So we're not going to take Stroud with our first pick. We're going to take him with our second, assuming he's there. And we got our pick of the litter of what else to do. And I think I'm going to just grab a tight end. And we're going to grab Mr. Kraft. You know, my general advice here is you cannot punt off any position and expect to win. Kraft, how's he be a smash? Scores 7+ touchdowns. He's got the skills for it. Yeah, we're just going to, no need to overthink this. I mean, Stroud was brutal last year, man. We're going to pull up his game logs. That's something else I like about drafters is they have like really nice, first off, their mobile app has a draft board, which is nice. And yeah, they just easily let you pull up the game logs like this from last year. But like, what's he got? A game's above 20 points. One. My God, man. One game above 20 points last year. And also, drafters scoring is like very slightly juiced for passing quarterbacks. Like it's, you know, like maybe it's like 2 points more than underdog or something for 300 yards. I don't know. But my God, this is worse than I thought. However, let's pull up the Texans schedule. Things we know about the Texans. Number 1, they fired their OC, who was like the most run pass guy you can have. Number 2, you know, Texans, like, let's look at the games that could be shootouts. Boom, week 1. Boom, week 2. Boom, week 3. Bad team in the Titans. Boom, against the Ravens. Bad team in the Seahawks, probably. I don't know. Boom, the 49ers could be a shootout. Broncos, that's a good defense. Don't love that one. Jaguars could be a shootout. Titans, probably not a good team. Bills could be a shootout. Who knows? Bills defense could be really good or it could be middling. Colts, probably not a good team. Chiefs, you know, hopefully the Chiefs don't sit on the ball. Raiders, pace up, shootout. Cardinals, you know, so it's like, yeah, I think this is Chargers. In general, this is a pretty good schedule. And we know they fired their OC. We know they drafted 2 wide receivers in the draft. They traded for Christian Kirk. So this is probably a team that like wants to pass more. And, you know, we took Nico. So it's like, whatever. You can punt positions and win. You can punt by draft capital, CB, but you cannot punt off as far as like you cannot win scoring 10 points a week at quarterback and you cannot win if your tight ends score 5 points each week. So you can punt it off by draft capital. You just have to find players who score a lot of points. Like I would not want to build a team that has, like, for example, Noah Gray, Tyler Conklin, and Will Dissly at tight end, and just be like, well, I'm scoring enough everywhere else. Not really, James. I mean, some of the stuff is so noisy. It's like so much fluff, So, my team, I'm probably going to do 3 tight end. Likely goes, minor bummer. Probably going to go 3 quarterback, just with like Mahomes and Stroud being as brutal as they were last year. Like, obviously, I'm betting on the rebound, but they're also just like both mostly pure passing guys, meaning they're giving me very little on the ground. And so they can, that type of profile's susceptible to a low game. This guy's got no tight ends inside of me. I don't want to take Kyle Pitts, but like I'm gonna do it if he's there. Yeah, we're gonna take Pitts, and we'll just take. I can't be sniped by the quarterbacks. The quarterback will be there for me. So 2 week 5 buys at Pitts. Pitts is probably better in a total points format in the sense that I don't care if he scores 0 a bunch of weeks. Wow, this guy did go 4 quarterback. I was not expecting that. I don't think that's a good thing to do. So like Bryce Young gives me a stack. Fine. Well, I want to do Geno or Tua over Young, but we've already made the bet on Chuba. So we're going to do the Bryce Young Chuba correlation. In general, you really want to be stacking on drafters because you're trying to think through like what's the easiest path to scoring a lot of points each week, and that's stacking. I've built some 4 quarterback teams when I need to, but I think it's pretty bad to do in general. Like when I've looked into the data, it just doesn't even add that many points. Now, Richardson's kind of an interesting guy because it's like, well, if he has 3 30-point weeks, whatever. Yeah, that's also why I went Young over Geno. He's more back stackable. I'm with you on Dobbins. I've not done it as much with Cooper, and I think the answer is June, David, because June 1st is a big date. It's a date where, like different things happen contractual wise. Where, for example, like Noah Fant's guaranteed money is different then. So, like basically, some players are going to be cut post June 1st. And I think you're going to see some players sign them in June. But yeah, I don't know. Every day that passes, it's uneasy, man. I like Rico a lot too. He was going higher pre-draft. The reason why he's going further down is because they drafted like Trevor Etienne in the 4th round or something, 5th round, I don't know. So, I don't know. We feel good at running back. Obviously, if Tootin's 0, that's tough. But I think I'm going to go 5 running back. 1 more tight end. Could even build 4 tight end. Like 4 tight ends, fine. And then maybe 4 more picks in the wideout. So a 2, 5, 9, 3. No, a 3. Why is it displaying that I have 3? A 3, 5. Yeah, a 3, 5, 9, 3. I'm still a believer in Cook. It's he's more risky than some of the guys. But yeah. It's post June 1st, so teams can cut him whenever. Gesicki goes. He would have been a guy I was interested in. Firemuth goes. And Ertz goes. I mean, I might take one of the running backs. We could do the standard 3-6-8-3, but with Ayuk, probably want that ninth wide receiver. I don't know. Oh, actually, I know what I'm going to do here. We're going to do K-Dine. I like K-Dine. I like him more than the market. I like him for random touchdowns. We're getting some division correlation there. We got Young, Chuba, Pitts, Otten. So we're hoping for some shootouts there. I prefer Otten to like Taylor. Yeah, I don't know. It's called post June 1st, so it's one of the two. Keenan's fine. Douglas is fine. Wilson's fine. It's honestly a mix. Just think for a second. Both of them give me some stacks. We did Douglas. He had some weeks. 14, 10, 11, 10, 21. Maybe Michael Wilson is a little bit better fit for a total point site where it's like you don't care about the lows. You just want some highs. So probably going to end this with I don't know what's going on with the drafters display. See if this fixes it. Oh, you know what's going wrong with it? Absolutely nothing. I just can't count. I thought I had 5 running backs for some reason. I only have 4. Good job, me. So, one more running back, 3 more wide receivers. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Which, if I had known that, I would have passed on Douglas for a running back. A challenge of streaming sometimes. Yeah, I don't remember Lance. It's called post June 1st. I don't know if they actually act on that date either. I can't really remember. Be right back, folks. It is absolutely brutally hot. So I want to close the lanai, but my cat refuses to come in. Classic cat behavior. Yeah, definitely would have wanted one of these running backs. But hopefully you need Douglas this year, Happy accidents. They happen sometimes. I like the team in general, though. Douglas layers in nice with my team a little bit in that Nico, huge games, Worthy, huge games, Ayuk, looking more for huge games, Trey Harris, probably a spike week guy. So just a guy hopefully soaking up targets. Seems like a good idea. And then, obviously if CMC is CMC, who even cares who my RB5 is? And then James Cook, if he can resemble somewhat of what he did last year, 28, 28, 26, 20, 28, 18, 19, 29. Obviously, he's probably going to regress in touchdowns, but he could be an improving player still. And then, the bet with Chuba is that he's just like a better player. The Jalen Royals thing, I can't do that until we get like 1 ounce of training camp buzz. You know how like long that depth chart is for him to climb? What needs to happen? Like half the team to disappear? Let's see. I'm not taking Brashard Smith, but he makes sense on a Mahomes team. So does Kareem. You don't really care if Kareem's a 0 later in the year in this format. Let's just take Wicks for now, and we'll keep it on. We're making a little Green Bay bet here. Yeah, I mean, it's anyone's guess right now. I mean, like Miles Sanders makes sense. Hunt makes sense. Tucker, Jaleel. I mean, there's so many running backs still. Are there any wide receivers, though, that like I'm really, really wanting? Yeah, let's take Tolbert. We're not stressed about it. If someone really wants some of these running backs, they can have it. We'll find one that we still like. Checking out my bye weeks. 2 week 14s. Other than that, 2 10s. Other than that, no overlap. So nice bye week coverage. Not the best at tight end, but that's obviously the least important position. 4 separate buys at running back. Oh, no, sorry. 2 week 14 buys there. So we're not going to take a week 14 buy with our last running back. So many teams with ambiguous wide receiver and running back rooms, for sure, man. There really are. The Rams, the Chiefs, the Ravens to some degree, the Browns, the Cowboys. Yeah, I like a ton of players still left at running back. Again, in general, you want to do a little scrolling here. I'm gonna hit him with the scroll, I think. Although I don't know, there's another guy kind of like. I could go 2 running backs. It's a tough call. Let's see. Nico, Worthy, Judy, Ayuk. So Ayuk is the big question. What week are we getting you, my friend? Trey Harris, Douglas, Wicks, Tolbert. I mean, these 4 could all be terrible. In which case, I've already lost in the sense that I'm not winning. I don't know. Kind of weird we didn't get a shot at Thielen or Leggett. Yeah, I guess they just went. I mean, if you could win equal money from each game, easily chess. As far as like interest and enjoyment. Logically, best ball. Best ball is kind of better than poker because you don't have to live poker, you got to be there. It's a time sink. Your guess is Ayuk back week 4 to 6. I have a more optimistic timeline than that, but we'll see. Goose is a fan of the 49ers. I don't know. One of the injury docs was like analyzing his wedding video and was like looking good, could be week 1. Now I think this guy's a little bit of a clown, this injury doc, so I don't know how reliable that is. But hey, that's one opinion. I mean, it's out there, man. Just type in Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, poker can be a grind. I used to think I wanted to be a poker pro in like college. What I was really trying to get at was probably just like the idea of making money from a game. I mean, I enjoyed my time when I was a chess teacher. I highly recommend anyone young out there, if they're really not sure what to do, teach for a year. Teach at like a charter school or somewhere where you don't need to get your teaching degree. So you're not that committed, you know? Probably make you a better parent later in life. Where are you guys at on the Higbee versus Ferguson? I'm on the Higbee side. Yeah, I don't even agree with this ADP. We're going to take Kendre Miller. I could be wrong. He could be RB3. Former 3rd-round pick. Devin Neal, a 6th-round pick this year, who the market is drafting 2 rounds earlier. Kendre almost never drafted, so I like mixing them in. Alvin Kamara, very old. Yeah, that draft vid. Like, my question is, like, what were let's see the draft vids from previous years, you know? Sure. We talked about Lazard. Trying to think. Late round Chief, late round Texan, not really. Why not, Mr. Lazard? Kendre and Lazard, don't try this at home. This is the other thing I like about drafters. I love how they do this little pop-up for you to look at when you finish. Mahomes, Stroud, Young, perfectly cromulent. McCaffrey, Cook, Chuba, Tootin, Miller. Really need, obviously, CMC to be a hit, Cook to be a hit, Chuba to be a hit, and Tootin to be a hit. Like, if these 4 guys are all smashes, having them together going to be somewhat rare. That gives me a huge leg up. Nico, need him to be very good. Worthy, need him to be pretty good. Judy, need him to be pretty decent, honestly. And then Ayuk, Harris, Douglas, Wicks, Tolbert, Lazard. Just need some weeks from these guys. Kraft, Pitts, Otten. Either need like a tight end not to break fantasy, a la Bowers or something like that, or get some nice weeks woven in from this group, you know? That was my first time taking Lazard. One more? You got it, man. We're doing another for Total Points Tuesday. Promo code Cheslium if you want to get up and running on drafters. This is another thing that's cool. It tells you how many teams someone's done. You can also click I'm ready. I've never ever seen this actually go off, but we clicked it. We clicked it for the folks. So I can tell that SZA Boner is doing their first draft. They're kind of different picks. Like Lazard is far more likely to contribute points to your roster this year. Kendre is simply taking a guy that most people aren't taking. So, obviously it's bad for my edge where I'm streaming out that I'm taking this guy who other people aren't taking. But I also have him ranked high. So, like, my rankers are too. Drafters, total points, weeks 1 through 17, PPR, 20 rounds. Feels like drafting strategies for total points and eliminator are similar. The strategies may be similar, but they're not the same. Early weighted production, and again, check out my site, man, beatbestball.com. I have a free article. You gotta be a free member, but I wrote up drafters. You should do yourself a service and read that article. But yeah, so it's not a 1-to-1 because again, if you have a bad week 1, a bad week 2 in the eliminator, goodbye, you're out, eliminated. In drafters, if you score 100 points week 1, but then you end your season with 5 200-point weeks, you're chilling. Who cares about the 100-point week? Also, scoring a huge game is way more valuable in drafters or total points format, where in the eliminator, someone scoring 50 points doesn't stay with you the whole season in a game, But if a player scores 50 points in total points, like, you might literally need that player to win the contest in the end. Yeah, no, I read recently that the new head coach has a dartboard with Kendre Miller's face on it, and also a Pentecost with Kendre Miller that he lights candles for every night. No, I haven't read anything. Another thing Drafters does differently is if you miss one pick, you go on auto. It's kind of nice. Yeah, like Jameson Williams, I like in general, but I love him for drafters too. Kind of upset at Davis because, like, everyone was hating on Jameson Williams. Apparently ETR was. Apparently, like Karain and Co were. And so was I was like, I like him playing. Yeah, we're gonna do 2 wide receivers. We're gonna do CMC. Yeah, screw it. We'll do CMC. I was like, I like JMO, and JMO was falling in price. And then Davis releases a video. I've not seen the video. No offense. I doubt Davis cares. But anyways, he got more expensive after that, where I've not been getting him in drafts as much. He's still a somewhat risky. I mean, Bowers is interesting. Ladd's interesting. Achane. Let's do Achane. Yeah, I'm not reading into that, Randall, but I did read the quote about consistency. You could read that as Daniel Jones foreshadowing. You could also read that as motivation for Anthony Richardson to get together. Mike cutting out occasionally. Sorry. It's my fault. Yes, Andrew. I mean, 0 running back literally won total points contests in Best Ball Mania before. Remember how I said that Capital guy won it? His team was a 0 running back team. So absolutely a 0 running back team is viable on drafters. I do think it's harder conceptually, where, if these guys are not league winners and these guys are, then yeah, you're done. But it depends. Absolutely, you can build a 0 running back team on total points, and I do it. But again, you want to be mixing your builds. This guy's advertising his YouTube. I'm going to do the same. Live on YouTube. Liam Murphy. Just Jazz and Sleazebomb here, my neighbor. I gotta lower my chair a little bit. My knees are jamming into this desk. 0 RB on drafters, got to get pretty lucky and get the nut in a Kyron type breakout. I mean, so that is the big difference in drafters is you're competing with every single team in the contest all at once. So it's like, newsflash, we're going to need to get lucky regardless. If the top scoring team can be built going 0 running back, that's what's going to happen, And absolutely, in a year where Christian McCaffrey gets hurt in week 3, Derrick Henry gets hurt in week 5, that changes the landscape totally. Where now you might need Brendo or whoever. Man, Tyreek, just got to close your eyes and do it. Just got to close your eyes and do it. He was on a lot of the top scoring teams. It's in my article, but I don't remember if the number 1 team did. No, dude. No, Sleazebomb. I mean, this is a little results oriented by UCB and also kind of incorrect. You could score 150 in a week with these players alone. Very hard for both Achane and Tyreek to be on the same, to both score 50 in a given week, but I guess they did it that Broncos week. I like the quarterbacks. I like Travis Hunter. I also like Cook. Whatever. We're building a early RB squad. Let's see if Sleazebomb's talking trash back. Live on YouTube. God. Got to put that chat away. Cook is a brand guy. I mean, he is, and I think he's better for drafters than he is for Best Ball Mania. Now, he's a terrible pick if Ray Davis starts playing a lot more. So there is risk, right? Where it's like, oh my God, man. Why is he a better pick on total points? He's a better pick on total points because if he scores, 10 points here, 10 points there, but then 30 points, that's more valuable on drafters. In Best Ball Mania, really, you need to score well in the year, and then really you need to score well week 17. And Cook has a matchup against the Eagles week 17, which is not like necessarily a plus matchup. It's more on a negative matchup side. Not that he can't score well in that game. And I think he did actually. I think he caught a touchdown from Josh last time the Bills and Eagles played 2 years ago. But yeah, I mean, if you like Cook in Best Ball Mania, he's better on drafters. He also, similar to Achane, he didn't catch as many balls last year. They didn't add any pass catchers other than Josh Palmer. The year before, he had much better receiving metrics. So, if he could combine the rushing touchdowns and the receiving touchdowns, or what if James Cook just plays 20% more of the snaps? Seems possible, right? If we're just last year, everyone was like, oh, James Cook can't be the goal line back. And then he was. Okay, yeah, they added Elijah Moore. Some of these guys are going to get cut, So we're obviously going to be behind at wide receiver here. Now, what's interesting for us is if this guy doesn't take Jalen Hurts, do we take Jalen Hurts? Because I doubt these guys are going to do it. I might. Okay, all right. This guy double. That take care. Thank you. That take care of that worry for me. Fine, man. We're gonna do a 4 RB build, maybe a 5 RB build. I mean, Kamara's bye plays better, but I just like Chuba better. Anyone but Burrow there. I definitely would have taken Pickens or Waddle, but Judy, Jennings, Godwin, I don't know. Streaming these drafts is eating into your EV a fair bit. These last 2 drafts are not an accurate representation of the normal lobbies. Normally 2 to 3 players drawing dead and paying the rake. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's just part of the game, you know? Is what it is. I've given away millions of dollars of EV. Not that I can realize that EV, but, you know, literally people who have won millions of dollars have shouted me out. So, is what it is. Who cares? So Addison could be suspended. We went Judy last time, and so yeah, we're gonna go Jennings this time. Very weird build, but even with the 2-week 14 buys, I think I'm gonna stop. Like, it was definitely defensible to go, and maybe in a vacuum, I should choose Ken Walker or Alvin Kamara instead of Chuba there, just because they have a different bye week than Achane, Cook, and CMC. I did Chuba, so it's a little bit thinner to just stop with 4 running backs, but I'm going to do it. You should join the UFC. I don't really have any experience doing that, but I think I could have been a good fighter if I trained young. Got fast hands. I don't think you can just join the UFC. Like, you have to like be good and get invited, you know? Chess boxing? Yeah, I think I'd be pretty good at chess boxing if I trained. I'd need to train. I'm not, I've never boxed. Smart guys make good fighters. I believe that. I don't really have the flexibility, like I've never done something else I think I would enjoy, but I just don't have the time for is like BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Hey man, if they would take me, I would snap do it. I was a good soccer player growing up. Something I do in the gym that I absolutely love and recommend. Very few people do this, and I always respect people who else I see doing this, is pushing the sled. And by pushing the sled, I mean sprinting with the sled. It absolutely zaps me. Like, typically I go squat, and then right after, if there's enough room, I'll load up 90 pounds on the sled and sprint it back and forth and do 3 reps of that. And by the end, I'm like falling on the ground and my legs are dead. A little bit of football stuff in there, but yeah, some good core, some good leg. You're contradicting yourself here a little bit, Carly's, because a 60-40 split is not good for Hampton. If you're taking Hampton in the 4th round, you're hoping that the split's closer to like 70-30. All right, we need wide receivers. Diggs is more likely to play early than Ayuk. We do have 2 week 14 buys, but beggars can't be choosers at this point. Josh is risking it here. He's got Godwin and Ayuk. He says injuries be damned. Yeah, I could see Ramondre playing a lot. Diggs, Ayuk, Godwin, Rasheed. It's a little uneasy selecting all these guys with injury concerns, but they're all also could go up in price if they get some good buzz. Let's go Mooney. I think Mooney helps my team more than Hawkinson. A different buy, spike week guy, gets to play a lot of dome games. Simply awesome last year. 17, 15, 31, 18, 19, 15, 20. These were the games with Penix. I don't know what to make of a small sample. Hey, man. Shakir's another guy who falls sometimes. But hey, this is another example of how streaming doesn't help me sometimes. Am I nervous about Penix? Not really. Could he fail? Absolutely. Am I nervous about it? No. Yeah, and this would make him a better pick in BBM, Martin, if it is 60-40 week 1, but by week 10 it's 80-20. Like in Best Ball Mania, that justifies the cost. That's tougher for the eliminator or for this. Now, I mean, Hampton might be so good and Najee so bad that like by week 2, 3, it's just the Hampton show. I mean, take a big step. What do you mean? I mean, the dude played 3 games, most of them in garbage time. I'm not worried about the suspension currently, David. I'm a little bit worried about the health, but everything I've researched, the suspension is unlikely to happen this year, according to Drew Davenport, legal expert. You can look him up on Twitter. And health-wise, he also seems healthy. So, wheels up. Every year I build some 4RB teams on 20-round sites. It's just fun to build like a 2-4-12-2. Yeah, Jeff is the guy who I was thinking about with Ayuk. He's not worried about Rice's health. He also said Ayuk week 1, though. So it's like, yeah. Is this guy? I think this guy's just trying to get clicks a little bit, But the Rice stuff tracks somewhat. Team stacking, definitely viable in drafters. We got CMC and Jennings. Simplifying your bets. 49ers are good. What are your guys' thoughts on Tyreek? He's either going up in price or down in price. It is interesting that, CMC and Tyreek are not too different. We're very enthusiastic about CMC. Tyreek, the market is not as enthusiastic on. And I think Tyreek's better on total points, where it's like, if he's dust weeks 10 onward, but he gave you bunch of 30-point games. Why not? We're gonna go Fields because we have Achan, we have Cook, we have Diggs, we have Tyreek. So we're getting the division stacks for Fields. And also it's pretty easy to see the years where you simply needed to have Fields to win. Like if Fields rushes for 1,000 yards and pops off for some big games, 31, 30, like, who cares about the low floors for total points? Fade Waddle. I'm not into fading Waddle. You can look this up on BBMDB. It would have been massive, but he got hurt week 7 or something like that. Yeah, it's not going to feel good if Tyreek Hill buries you. Like if you're like, oh, wow, 3rd round Tyreek Hill is who you needed this year. That won't feel good. I'm not as into Wilson, but yeah, he should be the best pass catcher there. I just, I'm not drafting Fields because he's a passer of the football. It's going to be thinner at wide receiver. Maybe it's responsible to take a wide receiver, but we're taking Purdy. We have CMC. We have Jennings. Bo Nix is maybe a better player in a vacuum just with his rushing. But, draft like you're right. We got the 49ers here. And Fields and Purdy is like a fine duo to stop at 2, or if anything, tack a 3rd on late. I have bad vibes with Tyreek. The vibes are not great, Goose. They're not great. But it's just a little bit of like fear that's holding on to. Like, oh man, this guy could absolutely destroy you. And he goes cheaper on drafters, which is not sensical. Like Tyreek goes, and the next pick is Worthy, who has plenty of questions himself. Who do you guys want? Tyreek Hill or Xavier Worthy? How old's Tyreek? 30? 31. I mean, I've been working out again. I feel fast still. I'm 32. It's hard for me to see the touchdowns tie. I could see Taylor being involved in the offense, but like, how many yards are you projecting Fields to pass for? Let's look at Fields' game logs last year. I think last year the Steelers were a bad team for passing, but 156, 117, 245. Okay, good week. 312, a good week. 131, 145. So 2 good weeks, 4 bad weeks, 4 terrible weeks of passing. Why did he have 2 good games? He scored 2 rushing touchdowns in them. I think the vibe on Drake London is you're getting like Walmart brand Justin Jefferson. Like, I didn't draft any Drake London last year, but I'm quite into him this year. Some of it has to do with how he ended the year. His stretch with Penix, 7 for 106, 10, 187, and 2. Piqued my interest. That extrapolating those weeks is nonsensical, but I see the path. Like, what if Michael Penix is very good and Drake London is competing with like Mooney, Ray McLeod, and Kyle Pitts? Yeah, we need wide receivers, so we're going to go Christian Kirk. And I've always been a Kirk guy. Gives me a different buy, which is nice. And yeah, I mean, I think overwhelmingly likely Kirk will be the wide receiver, the slot wide out for the Texans this year. You know, like Jalen Noel taking that job seems quite unlikely. Even if he does, doesn't matter for drafters as long as it's late in the season. Justin Jefferson from Temu. All right, I'm gonna have a tough decision because I kind of want a third quarterback, and Stroud with Kirk is nice, but like I need the wide receivers. I'm gonna take Hollywood. I like Hollywood. I also like the tight ends there. I like Kincaid still to have a good year. I like Ferguson's chances to have a good year. We can get another quarterback later potentially. Tua falls all the time. Penix falls all the time, so maybe one of those guys. Well, the nice thing about the Falcons is their defense is still probably going to be bad, and so are their division opponents' defenses. You know, Saints, bad defense. Panthers, probably still bad. Bucks, probably still bad secondary. I mean, for me, it was always T. Higgins in the past, but T. Higgins plays with Joe Burrow. Like, T. Higgins is just a guy where he doesn't win with separation, and that's not my favorite type of guy. Same thing with George Pickens. Like, I think people are wowed by George Pickens, and I was never into him on the Steelers. I'm into him on the Cowboys, but what they're wowed by his ability to catch the football, which is cool. It's very cool how he wins down the field with these acrobatic catches. But that typically doesn't lead to high volume, you know? Running routes leads to volume. Routing people up and getting open leads to volume, leads to fantasy points. I'm more into him on the Cowboys, though, because it's like, you know, Dak goes Burr. You could see Pickens being a discount T. Higgins. So my squad, Fields and Purdy, CMC, Achane, Cook, Chuba. I might tack on a fifth running back late. Just because it is 20 rounds. 4 running backs is thin, even with the capital I put into it. Tyreek, Jennings, Diggs, Mooney, Kirk, Brown. Honestly, not that bad a group of wide receivers for as much firepower as I got at running back, hopefully. You know, the only thing about the Chuba pick is like, man, what if you need Ken Walker? What if you need Alvin Kamara? Like, I can easily see Ken Walker staying healthy, ripping off a bunch of long runs. You need him. Alvin Kamara, it's harder to see, but, you know, just stays healthy, high volume. I can see it for Chuba too, though. Tyreek, Jennings, Diggs, need him to play early. Don't know. Mooney, Kirk, Brown, these guys all should play early. So the really only Diggs is the injured guy I have. So I have my choice between Penix and Tua. Obviously, Tua makes a lot more sense because we have Achane and Tyreek. And I was tempted to pass on him, but I don't. Like, this guy has one quarterback. This guy has one quarterback. This guy has 2. And so I don't know how panicked they were going to get at quarterback. Waddle's over here, right? So it's like if I knew they were going to pass and not take Tua because he's not stacked, okay, I can take the other player I was going to take. But if they were going to just be like, well, I just want to get points at quarterback, then taking Tua first makes sense. Might not need Tua, but pretty nice value for him. Yeah, this isn't a good selling point for me, man. Like, assuming a player didn't try and that will change, I don't know about that. I wanted Likely, by the way. And none of these guys even took a quarterback. So what do I know? I think they were wrong not to take quarterbacks, and they might get punished for it. But they think differently. Yeah. Ertz, Gesicki, Fryermuth. We'll do Fryermuth this time. 3-4-3, 7-10. 3-4-10-3. Could do that. Probably going to turn this into a 3-5-9-3. You know, like I think I was drafting a ton of Pickens before the trade, and I like him now more, obviously. But just assuming a guy didn't try and now he will, like that seems like a wild assumption, right? One moment last year I remember is I took Taysom Hill ahead of Pat Fryermuth, and someone accused me of drafting poorly to mislead viewers. We used to get a lot more of that. People being like, "Oh, you're doing this on purpose." Taysom Hill got hurt, but yeah, 40 points, that goes a long way. 16 points, 15 points. I almost clicked Ertz. It was just tough. I mean, there's not a huge data point, but yeah, Emmanuel Sanders did. It's not like a ton of guys that left. I had an answer for the Nico thing. I'm trying to think. Jameson Williams a little bit. It's already his third year, I think. I mean, Ertz is still here. We're going to do him, obviously. Who cares if he's a 0 later in the season? Give me some weeks, please. Hey, man, Deontay Johnson's still in the NFL. He could have a good year with Cleveland. Who knows? Jalen Wright, I also would have considered if he made it on the wrap. Yeah, I still like Kate Otten. So makes for a perfect third tight end. Tight end done. Check. All right, we got 4 more picks to land this sucker. The only question is, do we take another running back or not? What's up, brother? Become a YouTube member, like my friend who hames. I lean towards yes. Noah Fant's going to get cut. The only reason he would not get cut is if Seattle just doesn't need the money. But it seems bad business to keep him. So who would sign him? The Giants, maybe. The Chiefs, maybe. The Chiefs kind of make a lot of sense, man. Noah Fant to the Chiefs, and he's going to be like a 15th round pick or more or higher. A red badge means you've done a higher volume than a black badge. I think a red badge is 1,000 drafts and black is 500, but you can also get it from Pick'em, so I don't really know the rules anymore. So yeah, I mean, Elijah Arroyo is a guy you could be mixing in late because he's probably going to get cut. I've not done it yet myself. All right, these are the money rounds, folks. Literally the rounds that typically separate first place versus 50th, 10th place versus first, 20th versus third. So let's lock in. It's probably the pick'ems then, Martin. I don't know how it works. Darius Slayton, one of my guys, but he's a week 14 bye, so. I mean, I quite like this team. Fields, Purdy, Tua could legitimately be smashing the room. You know what? Fine. Old man Hopkins, welcome in. We just need to get some big weeks from him. Maybe Bateman gets hurt. You know, if all he does is a 30-point week, a 15, a 13, like that has some value still in total points. Yeah, so Fields, Purdy, Tua, like legitimately I could be gaining points on the field at quarterback. Should we correlate our olds? We're gonna do Tolbert again. I mean, Tolbert's still the wide receiver 3 on paper. Seems fine. Man, I'm tempted to stop at 4 running backs, but there are some other. There's like 2 wide receivers I want on this team that I'm pretty sure won't get drafted. All right, let's go thin at running back. Whatever, man. Just gotta hope. The other thing that kills you with only stopping at 4 is you get an injury to one of your running backs, you're toast, right? If CMC goes down, if HN goes down, if Cook goes down, if Chuba goes down, it's tough. But anyways, Fields, Purdy, Tua could be like legitimately gaining points on the field at quarterback. You could see all these guys hitting 30. CMC, HN, Cook, Chuba should be a pretty strong running back room, assuming that CMC is himself. HN doesn't get hurt. Cook doesn't get hurt. Chuba remains the clear RB1. Tyreek, Jennings, Diggs, Mooney, Kirk, Brown, Hopkins, Tolbert. It's not the best group of guys. Need Tyreek to be a very good pick. Need Jennings to be a very good pick. Need Diggs to be a very good pick. Need Mooney to have some big weeks. Kirk some big weeks. Brown some big weeks. Hopkins some weeks. Tolbert some weeks. Freiermuth, Ertz, Otten. Honestly, like a relatively strong tight end room for going 3 late. Some touchdown merchants in Otten, Freiermuth, and Ertz. Little PPR flair. So I like the squad. He's one of the guys I'm thinking about, which I don't think anyone's going to snipe him. But there's another guy I want as well. All right, we're going to do Mike Williams first. Chargers, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. That's the hope. Could also be cut and be a 0. You know, like Williams, Hopkins, you don't feel warm and fuzzy about these guys. Brown, he's got downside. Kirk, he's got downside. Diggs, he's got downside. Tyreek, he's got downside. I know, man, but we're just hoping for some big weeks. At least they're attached to elite quarterbacks. Yeah, so this is what I think these guys made a mistake passing on those quarterbacks for like Wan'Dale Robinson or whatever. And so he had to go 4 quarterbacks for it. One is handcuffing Darnold. Going Ward is fine too. This guy kind of got bailed out. All right, we're going to pass on Nick Westbrook-Akine. And we're going to go Keaton Mitchell. See, this is an example of what I was saying last draft where it's like, I guarantee you Kendre Miller was almost never drafted in this contest until I streamed it. And then Danny here takes Devin Neal and Kendre. So clearly he's, I mean, I can't know for a fact, but I would assume he's inspired by me selecting him. Could be a bad pick, right? Like I make bad picks too. So the team, Fields, Purdy, Tua, CMC, Achane, Cook, Chuba, Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell is the right type of guy to tack on as a fifth here where what do I need from him? I just need him to have some huge weeks where, you know, like 7 carries, 100 yards, a touchdown, which he's got that in his bag. Tyreek, Jennings, Diggs, Mooney, Kirk, Brown, Hopkins, Tolbert, Williams. Not the best group of players. I just need it to work. Specifically, I need Tyreek to be pretty much a league winner. I need Jennings to be the best 49ers wide receiver. I need Diggs to be a very good pick, which could happen, right? I need Mooney to have plenty of weeks, Kirk, Brown, and then just give me something. Give me something, folks. Give me like 3 20-point weeks each. That's like what you're hoping for here. Firemouth, Ertz, Otten, I feel good about that. So overall, feel good about the team. Yeah, you could be, you know, like Hopkins got hurt last year. What if he's a little bit better than that? All right, folks. Appreciate you hanging for Total Points Tuesday. Be sure to like and subscribe. I think Davis and I are going live tomorrow at 11. Check out beatbestball.com. Going to have drafters rankings live tomorrow on site. Join the Discord. Link is below. Peace out. Enjoy your evening.